This episode is brought to you by Tapping Into Your Mojo, my 30-day course where you learn to reconnect to yourself and manifest your dream life using my 5 simple steps. This is my latest course and I am so proud of it. It is actually very popular right now and I am getting so much love from you guys about it. A little spoiler alert, you can rewrite your own story at any time. You can change the page, the chapter, and you can even change books or sections in the library if you wanted to. This is the course to help you do it, to let go of the stress and struggle and welcome in more fun and ease into your life. You're going to get clear on the life that you truly desire, the career, the health, the finances, the relationships. We get so specific, and then we show you how to bring that into reality using manifestation tips, mindset tips, daily rituals. And the best thing about this course is it's only $37. It's a one-time payment of $37. So grab yours. The link is in the show notes below, and you can send me a DM on Insta at Leslie and Co XO. You get so much value in this course. You get 5 training videos, guidebooks, and so much more. So don't wait. Get yours now and start tapping into your mojo. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Not Another Mom podcast. It's time to take that mom hat off because this is after hours and I'm making you off the clock. This podcast is here to help you know your worth because damn girl, you're a goddess who deserves to live the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Leslie Sprague, and we talk everything from manifesting to motherhood. Yes, those little monkeys will still creep in here or there. Spirituality to girl talk with your besties, and from business to finding that balance in life. I'm here to remind you that you are worth it. Life gets to be easy for you, and your dreams really can come true. So grab your favorite glass of wine, craft beer, or if you're a whiskey and diet kind of girl, grab that and let's get this show on the road. Welcome to the Not Another Mom podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Sprague, and today I am here with Erica from Bear Fox Apparel.
Ta-da! Hello, world.
This is her first ever podcast, and I am so excited to have you on.
Super stoked.
And as we are recording, we are having a couple beers and just having a whole ball of fun. All right, so I have some icebreaker questions for you. If you had to delete all but 3 apps from your phone, which ones would you keep?
Shit. Okay. I feel kind of stupid, but I'm gonna say Instagram.
But that's your business, so.
Candy Crush.
Nice.
I'm on like a ridiculously high level.
Yeah.
Instagram, Candy Crush, and then third app. I don't know, man. Probably Facebook, which is also really lame to say, but like, I don't know. I don't know.
Your 2 priorities are Instagram and Candy Crush.
Yeah, man. Like it's embarrassing how high I am on Candy Crush, and everybody else they're done. They're not crushing anymore, and I'm still there, crushing away.
Oh, my husband plays Toon Blast, which I think is similar.
Yeah, see, like you get on a game and you can't stop. My husband has stopped crushing.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah, he is on like a stupid high number.
See, and then it's totally an addiction, man, because you get so high and then you're like, well, I can't quit now.
I gotta keep going.
Right?
I can write this. Okay, who is your favorite Disney hero or heroine, and would you trade places with them?
Okay. Shit with the deep dives right
I
off
know.
the hop.
I know. I get like, I get that from a lot of my guests. Like, I'd like to hit them with the hard.
Well, okay. She's not super popular.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I would say she's like my favorite, like of all time, need to watch that movie all the time. But Merida from Brave.
Oh,
So,
yes.
So I shoot a bow, I hunt and everything with a bow. So like that like really resonates. And she's just like a really powerful character. She's not getting enough airtime.
No, I don't think I've even actually seen the movie.
Dude, you gotta.
Okay.
You gotta. It's one of those ones that kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah.
It probably came out the same time as fucking Frozen, which is good, right? Don't get me wrong, Frozen's good, but like it just totally overshadowed everything else. She's amazing. It's a really cool story. Scottish. Yeah. Okay, fine. I choose Merida.
Yeah. Perfect.
Final answer.
Would you trade places with her?
No, not really. I mean, it looks like she lives in like the dark ages kind of, you know, and like I can smell it.
Right.
You know, it's like a cool vibe, but like hygiene was at an all-time low. Yeah, no,
awesome.
I'm good. I'm good where I'm at.
Okay. And the last question, would you rather have invisibility or flight as a superpower?
I think I would have to go invisibility.
Okay.
So I could spy on some people. I don't know. Flight sounds cold. I don't know. Teleportation over flight, but I think I would have to go invisibility.
Nice.
Look at all the cool shit Harry Potter did.
True.
He had his cloak and he did some cool shit. So I'm in. Invisibility. Final answer.
This is awesome. Okay. Okay. So Erica is a mom of 2. She is running a kick-ass apparel company.
Thank you. Don't stop. Keep going.
So why don't you tell everybody like a little bit about how you started your apparel company, like why? Go into like the journey of.
Okay. We're just gonna keep going on the deep dives, man. Get the shovel. We're digging a hole and we're going down. So I had a side business.
Yep.
For like a year and a half. It was Critters Creations, and it was basically anybody with a Cricut knows what I'm talking about. You're making like custom shirts for like bachelorettes, pregnancy, birth announcements, all that kind of shit. It was super fun. I had a great time doing it. I loved all like the creative aspect of it. And then I had my son and was like, did not skip a beat, like kept doing it. Was looking to like grow that business. And then my son is a very happy baby, but he does not sleep. He's very needy. And it was just a lot of time away from my family doing that.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you're doing the designing, you're doing like the creating, like you're pressing the shirts, you're all that shit.
Yeah.
And one night I was up in the middle of the night, because that's what you do with babies. And I kind of had this thought of like, what if it was like the same image on a bunch of clothing, which like is not groundbreaking in the slightest, because like Nike, Muskoka Bearwear, BU, Ilbury, right? Like you name any clothing, they all do it.
Yeah.
It seemed groundbreaking at 3 a.m. though. And then I kind of started thinking like, well, what am I passionate about? Right? Like what would my product be about? And I'm like, well, I am really passionate about shopping local and like being proud of what our small towns have and like putting our money back into our small towns. So that's where like the purpose behind the brand kind of started, was like more time with my kids, pushing the shopping local and pushing the importance of our small town economies. And then once I kind of get on an idea, I get kind of stuck on an idea, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And yeah, it's just like grown exponentially, like way more than I thought it was going to do in the first year. Like it's blowing me away.
That's awesome. So how long have you been in business now then?
So it will be 1 year, January 15th. So I launched January 15th of 2020. Great year to start a business. Great year. Yeah. So I guess 11 months. 10 months.
Is freaking amazing.
It's been wild, honestly. And like I said, I loved Critters Creations. It was very creative. I had a lot of fun with it, but like nobody knew they were wearing a Critters Creations, right? Like anybody with a cricket, like, and this isn't a knock against them. It's just, I think like nature of the beast. It all looks the same, right? Everybody has like their cricket, like membership. So you have access to all the same images, like to outsource, then you're putting more time into your, like whatever. And now like I'll go to the grocery store and I see people wearing my shit and I'm like, that's really cool. Like that person's buying into the brand. They're buying into like the shopping local and like the small town vibe. And like, I dig that, man. Like spread the word, yell it from the rooftops.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking, I'm like, speaking of that, I could need to add some items for Christmas.
Yes. And like, I have been thinking about, okay, Halloween's my jam.
Yes, I saw that.
I don't want to step on Halloween's toes, but I've been thinking of Christmas for like 6 months, right? Because people go freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over this shit. And like, I've just been thinking like stocking stuffers, like smaller items, right? That you can put in the tree or, you know, spread the word. So I've collabed with a lot of local businesses, and to just try and like promote them, promote me. It's all about like cross promotion, right? Like that's how it works.
You're just like, I love everything that you're just talking about.
Wife me up then.
I was actually thinking that because when you text, you're like, have the beers on or have the cups with ice ready. And I'm like, I think I might just love you.
Wife me up, baby.
Oh, goodness. So, like, did you ever have, like, any doubts about, well, you didn't know you were starting in the middle of a pandemic, but starting your businesses, or, like, what kind of mind blocks have you had to go through, overcome?
I think if you don't doubt yourself, you're either, like, totally ignorant, stupid, or naive, right? You just have to do it, right? Which sounds really cliche, right? And like how Nike of me, just do it. But like, if you don't, there's always going to be something that holds you back, right? There's always going to be that rational voice that says, this is a huge leap. This is a big investment. This is change, right?
Yes.
Everybody's resistant to change. It does, like, I don't care who you are. Nobody's like, you know what? I love change. That shit's awesome. Nobody says that, right? You like to stay in your comfort zone. Yeah. And I think you just have to step out. And what's the worst case that happens? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's what, like, when I first started, I still had like my Critters Creations page and I still had the Instagram. I wasn't posting to it. It was essentially dead in the water.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my safety net of like, well, if this shit flops, then you just go back and you just keep doing whatever you're doing, right? Like, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
You know? So you just have to just do it. Like, same thing, like you started a podcast, you just have to do it. What's the worst case that happens? Nobody listens and you're like, well, okay, then we move on, we do something else. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you just always have to, I don't want to say have a plan B because you kind of want to go all in, but I think that's just being realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like, our brains are wired not to to keep us in our comfort zone.
Yes.
So, and you never know what it's going to be like until you actually take that step. And if it happens to be maybe the wrong step, at least you've learned. And like Ross from Friend always says, you can just pivot
Exactly.
and move. And that's part of course correcting. Like,
Totally.
you never know if you're going to like it if you don't do it.
Right. So my family, we have done a lot of shit. My family, we had a hunting TV show, and we learned.
I didn't know that.
Ta-da! We have, I would say, learned a lot from our experience in that industry, and a lot of things that you learn there, you can actually like transfer elsewhere, right? So in terms of sponsorship from a TV standpoint, that just turns into how am I going to approach this beer company about a partnership, right? You just take everything that you learned and you just trying to apply it with where you're at in life now, you know? Life is full of fucking lessons, yo, and you just got to take it and spin it and pivot it and use it to the best of your advantage.
Yeah.
Right?
Because on the flip side, like if you wanted to like focus on all the bad things in the lessons that you're learning, you gotta totally switch it. And there's always good in even the worst situations.
Look at COVID, right? I don't know if you know this, but there's this thing going on in the world and like shit's kind of crazy right now.
What?
I know.
I have no idea.
I know. You've been under a rock, let me tell you. And there's been businesses that have really suffered from it. There's been households and families. Like it has affected people, and it will have a ripple effect for years to come, right? But there's a lot of good that comes out of it too, right? Like just look in your own backyard. So started a business in 2020. It could have been a total shit show, but people supported local more than ever in 2020. So it actually kind of springboarded my business forward. You have people like Alyssa from the Social Factory starts supporting Oxford, gets a website done together in 24 hours, and is helping to spread the word of all the small businesses that are affected and give them a landing point on a web page. And now like supporting Oxford's just exploding, right? Like they're doing like the Oxford shopping channel, showcasing all these small businesses. And it's like, these are small businesses that wouldn't have that opportunity to film a shopping channel segment, to get their voice out there in a different way, right? And they're taking it and they're running wild with it. And it's like a lot of shit has happened in 2020, but there's so much good happening as well that you have to almost just focus on that and just, you know, hone in on that, because otherwise, we're all going to be like drunk, fat, and depressed somewhere.
Oh my. There's definitely like, if you don't focus on the good, it's really like you can be on the fence. You can either focus on the dark side of the fence or the light side of the fence, and you get to choose.
Totally.
How you want your life to unfold, how you want it to look and feel.
Absolutely.
And taste like this beautiful beer.
Picture it with a shot of sangria. I'm telling you, like
I think you're onto something here. This is.
I know. I am not. Okay, so what is this? An apricot peach sour from Job Site, 5%, so a nice light beer. But I am not a sour beer drinker. I think I'm just not sour like in general, like candy, everything. But I think put like a shot of like rum would sweeten it up a little bit, and then toss in. Make it a poor man's sangria. Just put rum, this, and some berries, and boom.
And you're done.
Boom. Easy peasy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, totally squirrel brain, and it left.
You got nuts on the brain.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us, man.
Oh goodness. Okay, so if somebody is out there listening and is not sure like whether or not they know they want something more, they're thinking about starting a business, what advice would you have for them?
So I just bought a small business book, literally called How to Start a Small Business. Probably should have read it a year ago, but alas, here we are. And honestly, like, I think back about all the steps that I've taken, and they all just seem so natural. You know, like, well, first you need a logo, and then you need like a brand idea, right? Like all these things, they all just seemed like such like a natural progression. My advice would be to just do it and outsource to your friends and family. Like when I launched, I was like, check out this logo. Like I got the logo. Cool.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. But then it was like, I'm trying to name my sweaters. I'm trying to name my gear. I'm trying to like come up with like a slogan, right?
Yeah.
And all I did was just like bounce ideas off of friends and family. Like they were basically like a free soundboard. And, you know, some of the ideas that they came up with, I loved and I went with, and some of them I was like, maybe not. Right.
Yeah.
But like, you can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about community, right?
Yeah.
Pay people to do the shit that they know how to do.
Yes.
Right? Like the tax season is coming. I am like anxious to the fucking tits because I'm like, I don't know numbers. I don't know.
I hate numbers.
I don't know how to do it. So I'm like, okay, find someone who knows how to do QuickBooks. Find someone, just pay them.
Mm-hmm.
You just tell me how much money I owe. That's what I just tell me what.
Just do your thing.
Right. So that, I guess that would be my advice.
Yeah.
Pay people who know what they're doing to do it properly. And then you can learn from them, right? So like QuickBooks, for example, pay someone to get it organized for you. They can teach you. And then eventually maybe you only pay them twice a year. They come in and they check your shit. And then secondly is just do it. Worst case that happens, it doesn't go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and actually really good advice that I got when I started was you don't have to have all the answers from the beginning.
No.
Right. And
exactly.
I think I stressed out a lot about like, well, how much do I charge for shipping? How much do I do this? Like how should I package my products? Like, what should I do? You don't have to have all the answers, and you figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Right. You figure out what systems work for you. You figure out what products work for you, and you figure out like what people work for you, right? You're going to meet people and you're not always going to vibe with them, or maybe they don't vibe with you, and that's cool. You just move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like a life advice guru, but
no, but I think you're giving everybody like good points, because essentially the moral is you just have to do it.
You just have to do it. You just have to do it.
You, in a sense, like had already figured out your passion and what
would that be?
Well,
I'm dying to know. No, I am, because so everyone thinks that I'm like passionate about clothing, right? I don't have a fashion degree. Clothing, no. Like it's not like, I don't know. I'm not like, nobody would look at me and be like, whoa, that chick has fashion down to a T. Look at her. She's so stylish. That is not it at all. But I think like the messaging behind my apparel is what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
But like, it could be on anything. I'm pretty passionate about beer and whiskey.
True.
But like that messaging could be on anything. I just chose apparel. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I have a lot of people be like, oh, so like, were you always interested in the fashion industry? And I'm like, bitch, I don't know shit about the fashion industry. Honestly, like I make crew necks, t-shirts, sweatpants. Like my fashion is like low. I'm not making like gowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think if you have a good message, you can put it on anything. And
I believe that 100%.
Right. And I think I just had that segue from doing like the custom shirts. But if I had been doing candles, it would have been candles.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just kind of how life happened, I suppose.
And that's kind of interesting, like how life unfolds and guides you without where you're supposed to go. Like if you had started this and started getting like a hell no, pump the brakes, but it felt natural to like just flow with it.
Yeah.
Curious, where did you get the name Bear and Fox?
Cue your sentimental music. It's named after my children. So nothing unique about that either. Like there's all kinds of companies named after their children. Like, even just like Q and Lou, right? It's named after her kids. When we were pregnant, we didn't know if it was a boy or girl. So the first one we called the Cub, and it ended up being a girl. So that's a bear.
Yeah.
And then when we had our son, his name's Freddie. So naturally everyone bought him a bunch of fox crap. So he became the fox. So my initial thought, 3 a.m, right? Breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Was Low and Co. because we call Lauren Low.
Yep.
And I was like, ooh, like that's kind of fun. And I was like, Freddie just gets to be and company. I'm like, that's not very fair. So then, yeah. And then like I said, like I'm a pretty like outdoorsy person.
Yeah.
My family has like deep roots in like the outdoor industry. So like hunting, trapping, fishing. We lived up north like most of my life. So like Bear and Fox also kind of has that like Canuck vibe to it. You know, it's like outdoorsy. I picture people wearing my apparel and like at the cottage, like snowshoeing, ice fishing, hunting, like doing whatever outside. So then like the Bear and Fox kind of like fit with that vibe too. It all just kind of fell together.
Yeah. And like actually as like you're talking about that, I'm getting that exact image.
Right? It's like
it's like that totally all fits.
You know, it's like plaids and like pine needles and birch bark and like the smell of a campfire, you know, like that's like the vibe I have in my head when I see it. But then it's not like cottage clothes, right? Where it's like, I don't know. What do you picture in cottage clothes? Like a lake and a canoe and I don't know, like it's not like cottagey that you could still like wear it to like the farmer's market or
the hockey arena.
Right. Like you can just wear it around. It's not like, oh, clearly that's like
only reserved for the cottage.
Yeah. And like the branding with it's not like specific to cottage either, but that's just kind of like the vibe I want to give off. And like all of like the photo shoots we've done have been outside because it's like I want that outdoor vibe with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing, but I have no clue.
Yeah, you sound like very clear.
Oh, I'm a great bullshitter.
But I think that's part of it as well too, because half the time I feel like I'm floundering around like a dead fish on a dock. Like you just keep taking the next right step, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't.
And that honestly, that's just like the name of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like start a podcast and then you rebrand because you're like, you know what? Like I actually want to like change the voice of my podcast. I want to change my audience, or like this didn't feel like I was being my quote unquote authentic self.
Yeah.
Right? Like the moment you're doing what you want to do and how you do it, the moment you start to succeed because your success suddenly is measured differently.
Yeah. It's not based on everybody else.
Exactly.
It's coming 110% purely from you, your heart, and you could, in a sense, probably care less if it fails or succeeds because it's wholeheartedly created by you. And yeah,
totally. Right. And yeah, I don't know, like you just roll with it better when it's you. You know, because you're like, oh, okay, like whatever. Yeah. I still liked what I did, right? But if you're out there trying to please people, you're never going to please people. And then ultimately you're just going to be kind of pissed at yourself.
Because you're not pleasing yourself first.
Exactly. And everybody knows.
There's some nice,
you got to please yourself before you can please anybody else.
There is a nice golden nugget in there for you.
Boys, take note.
Oh my gosh. Oh, do you have anything else that you wanted to chat about or get?
Yeah, I got some questions for you actually.
Okay. Cool.
Who would be your Disney princess or Disney character? Sorry.
You know what? It would be Moana.
You know what? She's a good one too.
Only like my good core group of girlfriends, they would laugh hearing that because I like to explain myself as a mermaid, and I am always the one in the water. And
But you did not go Ariel. You went Moana. That's interesting.
yes.
Huh.
There's her one song. I don't know. I would play it, but and she talks about like being one with the water. I can't even think of the right lyrics right now, but I'm like, that just the whole song about it. And she like flow like it, and it's a symbolism too, because she flows with life, and the sea kind of like guides her where she needs to go. So
I dig it.
it's like a whole symbolism.
I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, like who you just like resonate with, you know?
It's totally Moana. Be on the water and the water, like stand by. I went for a walk out by Scotland on their path. There's a nice trail there, and there was like a creek running through the one section, and I just stood there, and it was like, oh, just listening to the rush of water. Like that is.
My uncle Ron and Aunt Louise, they live right on the lake. Like they had an outfitting they had an outfitting business right on the lake. So he has a float plane, like all kinds of shit. It's like my favorite place in the world because like you are the water. And it sounds so cliche and like hippie, but like I love going there. It's Kapuskasing, okay? It's like butt fuck nowhere.
Yeah.
But it is just like my favorite place in the world. Anytime we go there, it's just very calming and like reassuring. And at the same time, like you get like a wild storm through there and you're just like, holy crap, like the lake just changes. Like it's just cool, man. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Totally.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
You know what? I think right where I am, maybe with like a little bit like warmer temperature. No, it's hard to say, like, because I like seasons, but I also like it. Like, I don't want a blistering hot. Like, just kind of the way it is right, like today. It's just perfect. And I like small town. We want to stay small town. Like, it just, I mean, everybody talks about the negative impacts of, oh, well, you live in a small town and everybody knows everybody's business. But I think of that in a sense, like the fact that everybody knows everybody is a huge plus. And, you know, like you could say, Leslie, Regan and Deacon were being little shitheads. Tell them to smarten up. And they would have no idea that, like, in a sense, everybody's watching them. It always feeds back. And there's that sense of community. In that, like, I don't know if I'm articulating it properly, but yeah, I love small town, and I love where we are located. I mean, we are a couple hours to amazing Great Lakes, or just lakes in general up north, a couple hours to the United States border, 2 hours to a big city. London's a little closer, like it's not as big as Toronto, but like, so we have a lot around us that we can drive to anything. Yeah. And it's all close and perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty central. Like when we lived in Timmins, like I was younger, so we weren't doing, like I wasn't doing the driving. Yeah. But yeah, it's like 2 hours to Kapuskasing. Well, they got not a whole lot going on there. Like your next major city center would be like Sudbury or North Bay, and that's like 4-5 hours. Right. Oh my gosh. So it's like, if Timmins doesn't have it, like you're kind of SOL.
Then you're not getting it.
Yeah. What else do I want to add? If people want to find me, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or on my website, baronfoxapparel.ca.
All right. What's your Instagram handle?
Bear Fox Apparel.
All right.
And I post a lot of useless shit on my stories.
But I love that about you because I still feel myself like judging myself when I go to post things. I'm like, oh, well, they don't want to see a picture of whatever it is.
I'll give you something for nothing. Okay.
Okay.
Stories are throwaway content, right? So your feed can look beautiful. You can like really articulate your feed, and like this picture is like high quality. I have a purpose. This picture, I'm looking to sell a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right. Or I'm looking to celebrate my rebrand.
Yeah.
Cool. Your story is where you can like post just like your thoughts on the day, or like what you're doing, or like reach out to your subscribers and be like, I'm thinking about advertising on the radio. Do you listen to the radio? I'm thinking about advertising specifically on the station. Do you listen to the station? That's your way of like actually reaching out and touching people in like a non-molesting way. And it sounded bad when I said it. And like getting their feedback, right? Because like I listen to FM 96, but like if nobody else does, then why would I think about putting my money there in advertising, right?
Exactly.
So that's the way I treat my stories, as a way to actually like reach out and talk to people and connect with people on a way that maybe my posts on my content feed don't.
Yeah, it's a different avenue too. And like, whereas the posts and it's also ticking that like there's people that are visual and like to read, and then there's the auditory person who likes to just listen, and when you hear somebody's voice and you connect differently too.
Yeah.
So
and like I know for me, like for my content, sorry, this is probably running long.
Oh no.
I know for me and my content, I don't want to just post pictures of me in my apparel, because I feel like that cheapens the brand a little bit, right? Yeah. Like I want other people in it. So then my stories is where I actually show my face and I talk about like, I'm gonna go do a podcast. I'm doing this today. I'm doing that. And then I've had people like stop me at the grocery store and be like, you're the Bear Fox girl. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. And you obviously watch my stories because I don't post my face on my feed. So, like, it's just like cool. Like, okay, so I obviously like, connected with you in something that I had said or did or didn't do, like whatever. You know?
And that's how like you build that know, like, and trust factor.
Exactly.
People buy from you because those three things. They know you from watching your stories. They like what they're seeing on your stories and your feed. And they trust.
People buy from people.
Yeah.
Right? People don't buy from businesses. People don't buy from companies. People buy from people.
Or exactly. If you go into like the mall and you go to that store, chances are if the salesperson had an effect on you while you're there, you bought because of that experience or that.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm totally like a sucker for that kind of shit too. Right. Yeah. Like when you go in a store and you're like, I'm not buying anything. And then the salesperson's just like so endearing or so just like kind. And you're like, bah, yeah, I could use another 3-wick candle, toss it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's harder to find that, especially during COVID, like it's hard to find that connection.
Yeah. Well, I mean, visually, even just with the masks, right? Like, so I'm in a doctor's office, so we're hardcore masks and cleaning and all that shit. And I feel so bad for the kids coming in because I'm like, I can't fully communicate with you with my face covered, right? So then I find I'm being like overly animated and like really smiling with my eyes and really trying to like engage with them, And now we're just getting that like everywhere we go. This is 2020.
Yes.
Did you know there's a pandemic?
No.
Did you know that?
Shit, I missed that again.
Oh, fuck.
So at some point are you just like riding the wave of Bear Fox Apparel, or do you think you can see it being a full-time gig insteed of a side hustle?
End goal is full-time gig.
Awesome.
And I think my work knows that.
Have been buying all your apparel.
End goal is full-time gig. I like the flexibility it gives. Like I'm able to come and do this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, I'm able to come do this during the day and still have time at night with my family, my husband and my kids, right? I like that flexibility. Whereas before, when I was just doing like Critters Creations, my kids would come home, my husband would come home, and I'd be like, okay, see ya, I gotta go work on some stuff now that you're here to watch the kids, right?
Yeah.
And it affects your family huge, right? If you're not present.
Yeah.
So end goal is full time. I don't know. This is where they would say set a goal, make it like a concrete date, but like I don't know what it would have to be for me to leave. Like I went back to work part-time because of Bear Fox. So now I have my half days of flexibility, and I kind of like that too because it gets me out of the house. And
Yep.
You know,
I can totally relate to that too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Eventually. It'd be really cool to have a shop, but I think that's a really romantic idea. Right? Like 2020 taught us you need to be online. Right? If I had a shop, then who knows where I would have been, because you have a lot of money tied up in that shit.
Yeah.
So,
and then from my judgments, because I'm not a shop owner, but you would be more tied to having store hours, and then you would lose that flexibility that you want, right?
Absolutely. So, I want the flexibility to be able to do this stuff, to do like photo shoots during the day, to do any networking, webinars, all that shit. I want to be able to do that during the day. And then, at night, that stuff shuts off and you can commit to your family, your friends, your personal life of whatever degree that might be. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have a plan. I'm just doing it. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, and let me tell you, they're assless chaps.
Oh my God, I love that. All right. Well, everybody go check out Bear Fox Apparel on Instagram or Facebook or their website. And we will chat with you next week. Thank you so much for coming, Erica. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
Thanks for
and
having
beards.
Me. Yes, it was the perfect amount. Now we're all done.
Apparently, I was too busy chatting. I've still got some left. And you did most of the chatting.
Hey, man, I can drink beer.
All right. See you guys next week.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, will you do me a favor and help spread the love? Go ahead and leave a 5-star review and share this episode on your Insta stories. If we aren't yet connected on Instagram, come follow me at Leslie & Co XO. And since everybody spells my name wrong, that's LESLEY and Co XO. And leave me a line and say hi. Have an amazing day, beautiful, and we'll catch you next week.